Hey guys, welcome to Peripheral Vision, and this is a Super Nintendo controller. This is a Super Pad by Performance. This is a first-party controller, and this is a third-party controller. So what's the difference between first and third-party controllers? Well, first-party controllers are official controllers. They are typically made by the same company as the console that they are attached to, and because of that, there is a degree of quality that is expected out of them. Third-party controllers are made by an outside company, and they can be made for a variety of different reasons, and because they're not directly connected to the product, they have a range of different qualities. In this video, I'm going to be talking about third-party controllers, both why outside companies would make them, as well as why the consumers would purchase them. To begin, let's look back at the Super Pad. Now, when I think of the standard third-party controller, this is what I imagine. It is designed to be as close to the actual controller as possible. It's got the 4 buttons, shoulder buttons, start, select, and D-pad, no frills. And it was made specifically to give players an extra controller for slightly less cost. And that's basically all there is to it. Now, there's been a resurgence of popularity in this concept in recent years, which has led to what I call reproduction controllers, which, while this is very similarly modeled after this, reproductions are exactly the same. An example of this is the Tomy Dogbone controller. Now, aside from the marker indicating that it is an official Nintendo product, this is identical to the actual NES Dogbone. In fact, on the back, it prides itself in being a perfect 1-to-1 ratio replica of the version 2.0 NES controller. And this is a little bit different than this, both because it is more specifically modeled after the original, and because these have become popular as replacements for older, less functional controllers, because at this point the original Dogbone is well over 20 years old, so they're bound to break down more, so Tomy filled that gap by making replicas. Now, not all third-party controllers are so close to the source material. I will move the Super Pad. Now here's a third-party controller that has a little bit more pizzazz, a few more bells and whistles. This is the high-frequency Super Nintendo controller, and as you can see, it has varying degrees of turbo and auto-fire for all of its buttons. The face buttons are laid out for more of a fighting game experience, and it has a clear translucent casing. This is an example of a third-party controller that was designed to add features to the original, as opposed to just mimicking it. And these are also really common. I believe there's the SN Pro Pad 6, there's a ton of Super Nintendo controller pads with all these turbo options and everything. Another reason for these third-party controllers is more cosmetic. Here, we have a standard Nintendo issue Wii Nunchuck. Pretty simple. It's got that white design that all the Wii products do. And here, we have a third-party version from Nyko. Now, the feel, the responsiveness, and the design are pretty much the same. But the Nyko one, you gotta admit, looks really cool. And you can't see it right now, but if you were to plug this into a Wiimote, it does actually have flashing lights attached to it. Now, these cosmetic differences don't make up the bulk of third-party controllers, but there are a handful that just look a little bit different. Maybe add a little bit of style to your gaming experience. Now, the most unfortunate reason for these third-party controllers is out of necessity. The Nintendo 64 controller is fatally flawed for one reason. Now, I don't mind the 3-prong design or anything, but I do mind that the joysticks on these are really low quality. you can see there's a thin layer of powder on the inside here, and that's from the wear of the joystick. And after long enough time, that will make the controller pretty much useless. So, like the Tomy controller, third-party controllers stepped in to try to fix this problem. The best, at least that I have seen so far, is the Retrobit. And this is one of the rare occasions where the third-party controller is significantly better than the actual one. You can see the control stick issue is fixed here by making it just a ball joystick. And in general, I kind of just like the design. Another really prevalent example in gaming culture of this is the Atari 5200 controller, which were considered to be broken out of the box, and you actually had to go get a third-party one just to have a working controller. This isn't that severe of an example, but it does have its issues that were solved by the third-party company. So why am I talking about this? Why do these third-party deals even matter? Well, because I think as a gaming culture, we often look down upon them, when they're a source of a lot of innovation. Sometimes they can fix glaring issues with controllers, other times they can just give us more opportunities to play in different ways. And that's why I have always had a fascination with these weird controllers. So next time you're at your local flea market and you see a Super Pad, don't think it sucks just because it's third party. Unless it's a Super Pad 64, in which case it does suck. And it also looks like a spaceship. Later days.